In this episode of Sheet Talkin', we are talking with Hugo Hamel of Shield Financial Suite. He sells sheets, he uses sheets, he is a spreadsheet guy. We'll get into, is he an A1 or B2 kind of? We talk about if Google Sheets is F1 racing, what is Excel? You'll find out in this episode of Sheet Talkin'. Do you talk about spreadsheets with people normally? Or is it like something you're like, what is there to talk about spreadsheets?
Good question. Like to be honest, I don't weirdly to say, like I don't really talk about sheets like per se, but they're really part of my kind of being. Like there, I think there's like as of now in this society or in the digital world, there's like two type of people. There's the Notion people and there's the Google Sheet people. And for some reason, I don't like Notion. I think I think that it's a combination of like the complexity of it, like you have to like configure all of it, but at the same time, I just don't want to learn. I don't want to get into like learning it. And I think that it's like someone that knows how to code that would use a no code tool. I don't know, like I know how to build a spreadsheet, so I'll just use a spreadsheet. So I just use spreadsheets for everything. I have a spreadsheet to keep track of like my groceries. I have a spreadsheet like how much do I pay for each item, and then in which grocery did I pay that item at that specific price, so I
Jeez.
know which item like it's pretty much to know like the baseline of what is the cost of a specific item, and I know like if it's on sale, if it's seasonal, like I know like what type of price I should expect to pay, and I know that by doing this I'm not being quote unquote like fooled by like marketing tactics of groceries. And I mean, like sometimes you have an apple is like, let's say 99 cents for an apple, and then you have the same apple like 2 days after like $3. You're just like, well, this is the same apple, like why would I pay more? It's just like 3 days after.
Check your spreadsheet every time you pay for something.
um Not exactly, it's more like once
You
a week.
realize, oh, I got screwed on these apples last week from this grocery store. Like it doesn't even help you like buy the apples. It just tells you, oh, you got screwed.
No, it's not really about it being screwed. It's more about like if I'm at the grocery store and I'm just like, okay, like this apple looks like at a good price. Is it really a good price? And I just pull out my phone, I checked it on the spreadsheet, and yeah,
Oh, you do
apples, yeah.
check it. You check
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
spreadsheet.
No,
You're
I
like,
do
oh,
check it when I'm uncertain. When I'm uncertain, I do check it. But I kind of like the more you grocery shop, the more you know the prices of things
yeah.
like kind of by heart. So I don't always have to check it out. But like because my partner and I, we both like pay separately. Like we kind of share the expenses, but we kind of like, let's say one time she's gonna pay for me, and then the other time I'm gonna pay for her. So we kind of have to keep track of that. So I've also built a spreadsheet for us because we have a joint bank account, but at the same time we have our own personal bank account, but we rarely use the joint bank account. We just, pay with our credit card. So
Mhm.
it kind of became harder to just like keep track of expenses because who paid what, and within that grocery trip that we did, who like within that order, that specific receipt, like which items are like more for me or more for her. So we like I've built a spreadsheet to really keep track of like what was what, and it's all of these things. So yeah, definitely like it's kind of part of my life and everything.
Yeah, when you said that there was two types of people, I honestly thought you would say there are people who use spreadsheets and there's those who happen to use spreadsheets. Like I didn't expect that it would be Sheets or Notion because like also putting people on either Sheets or Notion uh is like, oh yeah, is it Google Sheets or is it just like spreadsheets? Or like, is it Google Sheets or Notion? And those are the only two people that exist, except there's like a billion Excel users as well. We'll never talk about them. Like, they don't, they're spreadsheet users, but those kinds of spreadsheet users.
I talk about Excel. Um, for some reason, for me, Excel is like a dinosaur. It's like it's not it's not meant to be used anymore.
It's already
Um,
gone the ways of VisiCalc. It's already in the Lotus 123 era. It's old.
it's just the only like use case I see why a business would continue to use like Excel is because they do not trust like Google, or they want to have like their data stored locally. So they have like a shared network where they have the Excel file that being shared. Or the other use case that I see to use Excel is when you want to handle a lot like really heavy like documents, more like data scientist and things like that. Otherwise, I'm just like, why would you use Excel when you can use Google Sheets, and Google Sheet has so much more benefits because it's connected to the internet in a way.
Exactly. I mean, I feel like it goes along the age line too. Like I feel like two things. I would not trust an accountant who doesn't use Excel. Like that's one thing. If my accountant used Google Sheets, I would be like, can I get a different accountant, please? But like there's also an age thing. I think it's like 40 and up is Excel, and like 25 to 35 is dominant for like Google Sheets. At least right now. This is like 2023, right? This would be crazy if this is being watched like 10 years later. People in 2033 are like, "What's Google Sheets?
So
What
that's
what?"
like floppy disks.
Yeah, like we're bashing how old Excel is, and people in 2033 are like, "These people do not know what's coming." Like, um,
True.
no, but yeah, I mean I see this in actual analytics and like my business. I don't know if you look at demographics as well, but I find that people mainly in better sheets and around what I do is like 25 to 35 years old. And then I feel like I can't convince someone over 40 to go to Google Sheets. They're like, I use Excel. Why would I ever use anything else?
Right. That's a good point. It's just like I don't know, like Excel for me is inconvenient because you have to buy a license for it.
You still do in 2023 or in 2033? Is it open? Is it open source now?
Well, you have like open office.
Yeah, which
Um,
I used. That was the open source one, the free
yeah,
one, right? I used
yeah,
that
I think it's like
a
quite
decade
nice
ago.
now. Haven't used it since like high school, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it seems like quite nice now, but at the time that was really like dodgy.
Yeah. I mean, I keep talking about how free Google Sheets is, and I don't know if it's free anymore. I like this is a weird dichotomy like in my life. Like I pay for Workspace, Google Workspace, so I pay
Mhm.
$6 a month
Yeah,
for a few accounts, so more than $6 a month. But is like Google Sheets is still free, right? Like,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
can't imagine like I keep talking about how it's free, but I'm like away from it. Like I'm not. I don't use a free. I mean, I use a free one. I have a free Gmail account.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't see why Google would not put like would pay be like why it would be paid. I think
Yeah.
there's
So
so many
Open
Google
Office is
users.
free. Google Sheets is free-ish, and then Excel you have to pay for, and Excel Online as well. You have to have a license, right?
It's a good question
We have
because
not even checked. We don't care. We've never even
it's
tried.
a good question because I think that if you do have a Microsoft like email address, you do have some sort of like at least visualization of document online. If you go like on outlook.com and like you'll log into your emails, and then because I still have my email from Outlook from like way a long time ago. And I think that you can kind of play around. Actually, I can double check at the moment if at the same time. But I'm pretty sure that you can. like at least visualize documents or even
Mhm.
maybe let's see, Excel.
I do find people are very steadfast in their spreadsheet software.
You do have actually a Excel online that is
Nice.
free if you have a Microsoft email address like
So it's
Outlook or
similar to
Hotmail.
Gmail. If you have like a Gmail account, if you have an Outlook
Right.
account, you can get Excel. If you have a Gmail account, you can get Google Sheets.
Right. The only difference is that you don't have this, you don't have the software. Like I think to have the software like installed on
Mhm.
your computer, that's when you need a license. But that's good to know that you can have like Excel online. It's just that it's like I don't I think that Microsoft is just enterprise level,
Mhm.
and I'm not an enterprise level type of person. I just don't like enterprise level softwares and tools. Like for example, I would not use um like Salesforce, or I would not use like HubSpot, or I would not use what is the other one? Pardot, like the marketing of Salesforce.
Marketing
Anyway,
Salesforce? I've never.
yeah, they have like the software for
I know
marketing, but it doesn't
HubSpot.
matter.
I know Salesforce. Hmm.
Pardot, yeah, it's Pardot. I was right.
How do you
Pardot is
spell?
like a marketing automation that is owned by Salesforce. Yeah, and anyway, all of these tools, I just think that they're kind of overkilled. It's same thing as
Yeah.
like Excel for me is just I don't know, it's just not it just doesn't vibe with me in a way. It's just too old school and not like convenient enough. I could see myself using Excel online like for some use case, but I don't see the benefit of just converting into, Excel online. I think that Google Sheets has more benefits because you can easily like there's more APIs access done so far.
Mhm.
Um, you can collaborate at the same time on the same file. Like I'm not even sure if Excel can do that, but I don't know. Like they're
It's
just
got to in 2023. We're in the future now. I feel like if you sell an enterprise software and you're like selling to a large company that is collaborative, like it has to be collaborative. I literally don't know. Like I don't use Excel anymore. I used it like 10 years ago and
yeah.
I coded in VBA like 10 years ago. And now I watch like a VBA video or something and I see some code and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I used that. That looks like what might like assembly language might look like to modern coders. Like people are like, what is this?
Yeah,
Um,
totally,
Google
totally.
Sheets
And
and AppScript being like JavaScript, it just feels modern. Like it feels like, oh, I can read this. Maybe it's also just because I've been coding in now Google Script for a while, so it feels more familiar. I bet somebody watching this who is like love like there's someone watching this who loves spreadsheets and is just like a Excel freak, and they're like, I love Excel, I love VBA, I can't believe you're bashing this as a dinosaur. Like it's so great for, they're like, look, think of all the APIs you can connect with this, and then they list five, and they're like, and you're like, what?
yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that like if I would be to like have it to do a deep dive on Excel, and I would probably like enjoy myself at some point, but I'm just in a place where I don't want to do that deep dive into it,
Yeah.
and um I don't see the real value of doing it because like truly out of all of the better users, um how many of how many people have asked you about things regarding Excel, or how can I do that in Excel, or how can I export this spreadsheet in Excel, or how can I do that in Excel? Is there anyone that asks you that?
Well, the people, okay, so there's a weird thing that happens, and this happens too many times than I can count because, and you'd be surprised, is that people will ask me an Excel question. They will ask me a question, they will reference Excel, they will say in Excel, they will ask me a full question, and then I reply. I'm like, I don't know this answer. I do Google Sheets. It says better sheets, and then everything I do is about Google Sheets. And they're like, I am asking you about Google Sheets. And I look back at the question and it says Excel, it explicitly says Excel. And it's just a switch of words. Like they're used to saying Excel as if it were spreadsheet software. They meant Google Sheets, but they explicitly wrote Excel. And
Right.
I'm like,
I guess it's the same thing as like people calling like tissues Kleenex, I guess.
exactly. It's exactly. And I just cannot get over it. It's such a weird little pet peeve of mine because like it'll always be like a weird question too, where like if they literally just flipped Excel and Google Sheets, like you could still figure it out. Like if it literally was like a real Google Sheets question and they just flipped the word, I would figure it out. But like it's always vague. It's always like, can Excel do blah 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 blah? And I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, you teach this. I'm like, no, I don't. And then I realized, oh, you meant Google Sheets. Um, so it's also like a little key to like, okay, this person's a little out of touch. But that's not necessarily bad. Like, because I do get a lot of people who are coming from Excel that are like genuinely 100% trying to learn Google Sheets. And it's just a word not spewing. It doesn't register that it's wrong to them because they're like, I've used the word Excel for 10 years to talk about this spreadsheet. I'm like, they've never used the word spreadsheet.
Yeah,
Right?
I think yeah. That it's just that because it makes it confusing because it's like two different things.
Yeah.
It's not like the way that I see it is maybe like a copyright infringement in a way of like having, a business called Meta Sandwich and the other one called Meta Social Media. And then you like it's just two different things, but like people are just talking about meta instead of like just talking about the meta,
Yeah.
like the specific thing.
And you can always get it by the context. Like, join me in the meta is not going to be like, I'm going to go inside the sandwich and meet you. Like, you would get it from content. It's really like they're the same thing. It's so weird. Um, and people coming from Excel, there is this weird thing too, and maybe this is not a bad thing in any way. I'm just saying that it is a thing. Like, people want to do such a specific thing. They're like, I can do this in Excel. They'll say that a lot. And I don't have the context. Unfortunately, I don't have the context. So I'm like always lost. And I'm always like, well, should I learn Excel just to help the people who are coming from Excel? Like, do I need to become not an expert, but like know 80% of what's in Excel and then help them come into Google Sheets with that? Um, I you were mentioning earlier that like you would never learn Excel, and I'm like, that's actually a really funny YouTube video, but I can only think of the funny version of it where I'm like, I try to learn Excel. Like, it's like a YouTube video called like Google Sheet Guru tries Excel for the first time. And like, but like we'll like fake it because I did use Excel. I used like I coded Excel VBA, but like 10 years ago, right? Like, so I lost
Yeah.
all context. I look at Excel VBA now and I'm like, what is this? Did I code? Did I write this? Um, so like I actually think there is, not for you, but for me, I think there's an actual genuine real reason to go and learn Excel, but like maybe in a performative way. Like,
Yeah. No, I mean, it's always good to like to know what is the like your the environment that you swim in a way, like the sea that you swim in. It's good to know.
well, if you're
Like
a sailboat in the Atlantic Ocean, do you really want to go to the Pacific? Like, it's rough waters to go from one ocean to another, right? You got to go around Cape Horn or Cape of Good Hope. No, good Cape of. Okay, I forgot the other Cape. There's two capes, right?
yeah, I
South
don't know them, but yeah, I
Africa
guess.
and South America, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like they're rough waters. I've never heard good things about those those waters there, right? That's what it's like going from one ocean to, yeah, it's all the same water, but like what is going on?
Yeah, no, I think it's good for you to know like what you could be doing in Excel, but at the same time, I don't think that it makes sense to like switch to Excel or like learning per se Excel.
Yeah.
It's just, let me put it in a different perspective. It's like a Formula One driver that have, you know, lots of years of experience into driving cars. And then a person is like, oh, maybe I should learn motorcycle because, it's a vehicle to go from one place to another one. Maybe I should try to be a professional, like a motorbike, like a, what is it again? The name, like a G, what's the name of motorcycle? Like F1. You have F anyway.
I
You
have
have
no
F1
idea.
for anyway. I think it's like Moto GT, something like that.
Hmm.
Um,
Sure.
and
We'll
like
never
so
know.
yeah, I mean, does it make sense for that person to be like, I'm gonna like your time is already spread thin in a way, like
Mhm.
why would you want to spend more time trying to learn something that you don't have true desire of using and that brings, I don't know.
I
You
would
do
do it as
you.
an April Fool's joke. I think that's a great April 1st video, is like that I try to learn Excel. I mean, I think I did that last year. Was my April Fool's joke was I quit Google Sheets. I can't do
Yeah.
that again. I can't do that same thing again 2 years in a row.
I'm switch I'm better sheets become better Excel or Excel sheets.
Yeah. I don't think I can do that two years in a row. That was my April first last year. Um,
Uh,
but it could be like in the next couple of years. I could, that's a great like April 1st thing. I swear to God, okay, when you said you were like a race car driver, I thought you were gonna say not switch to motorcycles, which is a really good analogy. But I thought like if Michael Schumacher went and like did go-kart racing,
yeah, the different beast,
like
different
Michael
beast.
Schumacher is running the bumper cars at the carnival now. Like,
Yeah, that would be funny. That would be hilarious.
yeah,
Well, there was
your
a
analogy
movie.
was what way better. That's like
No, but
motorcycles and cars. Yeah.
there was a movie, a really old movie about with Arnold Schwarzenegger. When he used to be like a superhero, like it's like a Christmas movie where his son wants to have like a super like a specific type of
Jingle all the way.
like yeah, is that the movie?
Jingle all the way. Yeah, I just watched it 3 months ago.
Uh, well, like funnily, like maybe he would end up being the superhero of someone because he's driving at the carnival, like in the movie of the with Arnold, where he literally take his son and fly with it.
I mean,
So yeah, who
you would
knows?
not bet against like a race car driver. You wouldn't bet against a race car driver in a like go-kart competition. You wouldn't bet against them, right? But it's a different vehicle, right? I
Yeah.
like your analogy much better though, that it's a motorcycle. Um, but yeah, like have you have okay, so you sell Shield and you sell a Google Sheet template. Have you had people ask you like, can I get this in Excel?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, two or three people have asked me
Mhm.
out of like close to 200 users, like businesses and entrepreneurs that bought a spreadsheet. Um, like maybe like just two or three. So it's really low. Like if I calculate it, how many people is that? So let's say like 150 or
So
like
like
just to get a
1%.
yeah, it's like divided by three. Oops. Three divided by 150. Yeah, it's about like 2%, 1%, something like
That's
that.
that's significant.
Really? Why would I bother myself about 1% or 2%?
Oh no, not I wouldn't say bother you about it, but I mean it's significant that that there's a number of people asking you to do that. When yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's also because there's two types of people that I know that regularly use Excel, which is like accountants and also data analysis.
Yeah.
There's some and it's specifically not like the power of Excel, but it's like the specific buttons that you can press on the menu bar that do things that I know like you can do in Google Sheets, but it's not one click button. So people
Yeah.
like that. And then I mean, unfortunately, I always think about this. I'm like, okay, so yeah, Excel and Google Sheets can both do it, but Excel has this one button that does this thing. But like there's app scripts, so you can just write a script and create your own button that'll do that thing.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. That's why I think like Google Sheet is just easier because not only like the language to code the app script is more modern, but you can do it as well in there. Like you don't have to use like, as you said, like really old school dinosaur language like VBA for doing that. But truly, the only people that asked me to have the spreadsheet into like Excel were people that just didn't trust Google or just didn't trust to have their data online. That's the only reason why they were asking me for it.
Two
In
separate
truth,
people said that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow. And I didn't think of that angle that like people don't want to be online or in the cloud. Like I think cloud first now. That's just I'm like it's safer in the cloud than on my laptop. That's so
True,
interesting.
true. But some people, and that's the same reason why some people would not use Google Analytics because they don't want, data sent to like one of those, huge corporations
Hmm.
that almost like run the world. So they just don't want that. But at the same time, like accountants use Excel, but why? Like, what's the benefit for accountants to use Excel? Truly.
The benefit that they've been using it for 15 years. Like the benefit is they know it all the time. They know where
But
things are, right? Yeah.
what are you, for example, okay, let's take the account like data analysts or like engineer, like I get it. It's good to handle really heavy like amount of data and like data sets and all of that. Like it makes sense. But accountants, truly, what is their use case of keeping to use Excel? Like
But like I said,
what's the
I think it's just an age. I think accountant. I mean, I probably know some accountants that are under the age of 30 that do use Google Sheets. Actually, I mean, I should I I should say my wife is an accountant and she uses Google Sheets. So I think it's literally an age thing.
okay, makes
Like
sense.
I mean,
Because
if you've used some, and I mean, this is for you and me are both susceptible to this. Like, if you use something for 10 years, it's hard to move to something else, even if it's a different interface and it's essentially the same thing. And you just have to find where's the button for this thing over here. It's hard after 10 years to figure that out. And you have muscle memory, right?
very true, very true. And I guess that's kind of why I don't want to shift into Notion.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Notion's a whole other thing. I think Notion's more like Google Docs than Google Sheets. And Google Docs is adopting some things like oh my God, I forgot the word.
Is
Page
it
list.
pageless? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing with the beauty of Notion, because I tried it and like it's kind of nice, but it's just in a way like kind of overkill to
Yeah.
use because like what's cool with Notion is that you can like have table. It's a bit like Airtable. You can like have all of your data in one lines, and then you can reference that data
Mhm.
into different sheets. I mean, not sheets, but like pages, and then
Mhm.
you can create formulas and all of these things. But in truth, like I know on Reddit there's a like a thread or a channel, so a subreddit actually, that's the name to call it, on subreddit called data is beautiful, I think, something like that, or like the quantified self. And the people like really like to track data about themselves, either like their sleep time or either like the fasting time or whatever it is, like, anything related to either biohacking or just improving oneself. But I tried it in the past to track all of these things, And it's really time consuming. Unless you find a way to automate all of that, it's time consuming to every day kind of log your data. So that's why I'm just like, the only reason why I would use Notion is to have all of that data kind of cross match and to have like a nice dashboard.
Mm.
But I would still have to enter that data daily, and I don't want to have to do that. I tried it in the past, and it's just too time consuming for me. Have you, you know, what are your thoughts on that?
On Notion or quantifying myself? I don't quantify my
Quantifying yourself.
I don't really quantify myself. Um, I always just like look back and be like, oh yeah, I did that. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Which I probably should do more of. I should probably do more tracking. I've built trackers for like daily habits, not
Yeah, that's what
like
I'm about. And dark
massive
habits
data.
as well, right?
Yeah. I haven't well, there's dark habits for like tracking bad habits. And then there's also track anything, which is a click once and you did that thing for the day. So it tracks how many days you've done it in a streak. Um, but like I'm always I think I'm in the same exact boat as you, maybe on a different side of the boat, but in the same boat of like why would I spend an extra hour or two quantify like tracking these things? Like wouldn't I rather just do them or not do them or like and this is also, just a spectrum, right? We're tracking something, but what are we tracking? Are we tracking everything or tracking nothing? And it's we're all on that spectrum, right? Um, do we track in the past? Do we try to budget forward? And we're gonna be somewhere on that, right? Do we do a monthly review? Some people do a daily. They open their planner, they write morning pages, and then at the end of the day, they review they write they spend 30 minutes a day writing their morning pages. Then they write the plan for the day. Then they go to lunch. Then they work, and then they're like, "Oh, did I review the day?" And I'm like, I could just do it instead of like writing down. I could just start doing it and go. That I think
Right.
that I mean, some days
Right.
are good, right? And maybe it's about discipline or self-discipline. Like the people who can quantify themselves are very much more disciplined, but does that then produce better work? Does it produce good work? Does it produce more work or less work or good or bad work? I don't know.
Good point. It's a good point. Because I used to be like robotic. I used to be like a robot, and I have to follow my schedule. I have to do these things because I built a spreadsheet for myself to create a schedule easily, like just like realign my things, kind of move things around, see how I can do these things.
Mhm.
Um, and I used to be really robotic about and or let's say strict or yeah, strict. It could be a good word.
Diligent.
Yeah, like rigid. Yeah, I have to like do these things. If I don't do it, like I was feeling bad, and I
Mm.
was just feeding negativity into like my world of like it's not like as an entrepreneur, you have to have a lot of self-love for yourself, and not always like you're not doing good job, you're not doing these, you're not like you have like there's so many elements that can bring you down in one day regarding like things that don't go well. Either you compare yourself with other people, either you're like a client is leaving you or whatever happens, like you don't want to be the person that is putting more negativity on you. You want to be like more positive, and that's kind of why I've kind of added a bit more flexibility in my schedule, and I've removed these like quantified like self aspect, and I just do like 15 minutes. It's like 30 minutes, but it's always ending up being like 15 minutes like in the morning and evening just to journal
Mhm.
like how like what did like which is journaling about positivity, like what am I grateful for, like what am I proud of myself for, what did I achieve during the day, what could I have done better, and kind of just the power five, which is kind of like what are the five things I want to do during the day. And that can be like simple things. I just like I read a book, like just want to make sure that I'm going to read a book today, and then at the end of the day, like I know, and sometimes during the day that kind of guide me during like my schedule is more, oh, do I want like do I want to skip this thing? Oh, I want to read a book today. And then I wrote literally in the morning, I need to read a like I read a book. And I was just like, okay, yeah, I said I would read a book. Yeah, I think that like I'll just take the time to do it instead of just, I don't know, like I'll watch something on internet or like whatever, like while doing something else, or it just sometimes like just guide me. It be
Yeah.
like without being too strict, it at least tells me, okay, you said this, that you would do this. You should at least like consider that, before making a decision, consider that you wrote this in the morning. So just don't discard it. But you can still make a choice of discarding it if it's truly not that important and there's more things more important. Like, for example, I had work for a client today. It took much more time than expected. And, I ended up doing the work until this call and I'm still not done. I have to, add it for tomorrow because the formulas are taking longer and there's bugs and things that doesn't work as it should. It's just like small things that you just, well, I didn't do that today because this happened, but at least I was conscious and aware that I was not doing the work.
Yeah, I think you sort of brought that spectrum into the middle, right? There's the spectrum of like I have to be robotic every 5 minutes and track that I'm doing everything every 5 minutes, or hey, here's the plan for the day. Here's the three things I need to remember. And I like that those plans and that checklist empowers you to go do a good thing, right? Like bring it to back to positivity instead of a negative, like, oh, I didn't do this, strike me a self flagellation here. Flagellation. It's
Yeah.
like, no, having the remind, it's only 3 words, read a book, but having that in a checklist of that you look at every day, that you have a system is better than like if you have a system or not have a system, it's okay if you end up doing a good thing and have good results. Most people without a system will blame not having a system for the results they have, but it's actually like it doesn't matter if you have a system or not. Like these two things are not correlated, but there's a lot of faith we can put into systems, and also a system doesn't have to be an automatic like reminders and alarms. It could be a 3 dot spreadsheet that says read a book today, and that it just has a daily reminder. There's my spreadsheet, there's my checklist. As entrepreneurs, I think I'm always told like when I hire, if you hire other people and you try to like create a business, create like SOPs, create checklists, but these things can start with ourselves. We can we can help ourselves with these. We don't necessarily have to have another person. We we want to help our future self with checklists, with reminders, standard operating procedures that are just like, here's how you do that thing that you do every 3 months. If you wait 3 months to do it again, you're like, I mean, do I remember this? Do I remember all of the nuanced steps? Do I remember this? And then take that 3 months and collapse it down to a day. Do I remember the 3 things I want to get done today, which is read a book, take a cold shower, meditate for 15 minutes? You know, we make fun of, some people might make fun of people who have like that little daily reminder, but it's a great checklist. It creates an environment that's beyond yourself. Now you don't blame yourself for forgetting. You're like, oh, I just follow this. I can subsume myself to this. So it actually creates like a other self that we're like, oh, my boss, which is me, said I have to do these 3 things before I start working. That's good mental health. And it's also faith, right? It's also like, I don't, there's a lot of people my age and below who are like atheistic, but they're still looking for some ritual. They're looking for some faith to put into some higher power that's just one step ahead above them, not like this godly figure that's like saying you're going to go to hell or heaven based on your actions. It's like, no, I want to go one step further. I want to have a mind higher than myself that I can go to, that I have faith in, that I can do. And it's as simple as starting a little checklist, right?
Yeah, totally, totally. I just think like it's it's just like it gives you guidance, it clears your
Yeah.
head. Like, and it's same thing as planning your day ahead. like just the day before or the week or the Sunday for the whole week. Um, it just helps you. It gives you guidance. It doesn't mean that you have to respect it by the book. And if it doesn't happen, you're gonna like self-flagellate yourself. And you don't have to do that. At least it gives you guidance and it frees your mind to have more space for other things to come in.
Mhm.
And for I just think that's really healthy to create systems. But for me, I use spreadsheets for that. I create this. It's true. I use a spreadsheet to create my schedule, and I actually made a calculation so long ago. I think that it's out of for the last 5 years. I that spreadsheet that I when I created it like 5 years ago, I've reviewed my schedule something like 42 times, which is like an average of like keeping the same schedule for something like a month or 2 months, not more than that. So that's kind of pretty much
So you
really
created a
interesting.
schedule, what, daily schedule or weekly schedule
Weekly
5 years ago?
schedules.
Sorry. So
Well, weekly schedules.
you have a weekly schedule and you created the sheet 5 years ago, but you've edited it 42 times in 5 years.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. I would have to find a tweet again, but
That's
it's
like
something like that.
that's not every 2 months. That's not every month. 1 month,
Or is it 8 months?
12 months a year is that would be like uh yeah, just 6 weeks, every 6, 8 weeks.
Maybe I was wrong, but yeah, or it's
Yeah,
eight every
it's
8 months.
roughly. It's
Okay,
just
let me
over a
see.
month. Yeah, like 6 weeks ish.
Yeah, I'll find it. But
That's
yeah, it was some like really interesting number. I was just like, huh, that's interesting. Like
but it's
I've
kept you but it's kept you on a weekly schedule for 5 years, even though it's
yeah,
changed.
totally, totally that helps. That helps.
But yeah, do you
That-
feel like it's are you religious at all?
no, I'm not, but I'm spiritual.
Right. I think that's spreadsheets. I'm spiritual to spreadsheets. Like I think we're grasping it, right? We are, it's in our DNA that for the last tens of thousands of years we've had religion and we've had this sort of godly idea, but like now it's coming back down to like humanist of like humans are alone. Like we don't have this other thing in the world, but like we want to create it. Like that's what the internet ended up being, and I think that's also what spreadsheets can be. Is like, okay, we have this other thing that exists beyond us, and it's spreadsheets for us, for us spreadsheet people.
So I found a tweet. So in the last 5 years, I reviewed my schedule 42 times. That's 8.4 times a year.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Wait, review? You mean just like look at it or like edit
Oh,
it?
no, review like so pretty much every time I feel that my schedule is not like in tune with like how I flow towards in the day. I just open my schedule. I mean, I plan in my calendar the time to review my schedule, and then I change things around in my schedule, and then from a spreadsheet, I just transfer that into my Google Calendar to just have that more in sync. Yeah, I have like now that we're in the Google environment, I have like a calendar which like where my appointments are booked, but I also have a calendar where it's just called like schedules,
Mm-hmm.
which is just like it's just there to tell me in that block of time you like this block is allocated for this thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can add a task what I call like either non-income producing or income producing, and I can add a task in that block from the right category, and that category is another spreadsheet, not spreadsheet, another Google Calendar. So I have plenty of calendars to keep track of all of these things.
A lot of sheets, a lot of calendars. Hey, I have a few questions before we go.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
that are specific to you and you alone. Um, where do you start in a spreadsheet? Are you an A1 person or a B2 person?
I feel like I'm in a bingo. good, really good question. I always start at A1, but always end up at B2.
Oh, you started A1 and end at B2. All right. Um, what's your favorite Google Sheets formula?
I think it's filter.
Oh, you're a filter person. Cool.
Love it.
It's like my
Yeah,
second.
I really don't like queries. Queries are, in my opinion, like a hell. Hell. It's
Yeah,
nightmare.
quit. I like absolute. I've actually been against learning query because it's one of those like catch-all. Like there's some people in like groups that are like, oh, you can just query this, you can query that, just do a query, just do a query. And I'm like, oh, okay, but it's just like programming. It's like a new programming language. Like in this
I
one.
mean, yeah, query is exactly like SQL or
Yeah,
SQL, depending on how you
exactly.
want to call it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an entire SQL. You have to learn SQL in order to use query. Yeah, it's crazy. And I know the funny thing is I know SQL and I've used query. I don't physically repel myself from using it. When it's useful, it's good. But man, I mean, Ben Collins has an entire course about query. I'm like, this is some deep stuff here. Like, you can go deep on it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love filter. Filter is like one of those things where it just keeps coming up time and time and time again. It's just so ungodly useful. Um,
Use it everywhere. What's yours?
every,
What's your favorite
my
formula?
my favorite is if.
I mean, it's like my second favorite in a way. I mean, if you I use it everywhere, but
Yeah.
filter is like, in my opinion, the life-saving one.
Yeah, I mean if you're pragmatic and you're trying to get something accomplished, filter is the number one. I just love if because it's it's just magical. It's like it feels funky and you can do things. You can make a sheet feel magical without programming, without anything. I just love that like if is
Very
blank is like one of my favorite combinations of my favorite combination is index match, but which is this
interesting.
similar to filter.
Yeah, very true, very true.
But if
How
is
I
blank is a good hot second.
what's the longest like if
Yeah, nested ifs.
how do you yeah, like how do you call that again? When
Nested.
you like you yeah, nested, like what's the longest nesting of if that you've done?
I don't think I've reached the max. I mean, I've reached the max on a couple formulas in the last 10 years. Um, but like, yeah, there's some nested ifs. You know what? I ended up though getting I don't do a lot of nested ifs anymore because of switch.
Wait, what?
The
Switch.
formula switch, yeah.
This is new to me.
Yeah, switch allows you to like if you can say what the if is. So what I found myself doing is a lot of nested ifs weren't really like really they shouldn't have been nested ifs. It was just like a switch between this case or this case or this case or this case. Like there was already three or four things you know was going to happen.
That is so nice to know that they switch. I didn't know. That's amazing. But
Yeah.
yeah, actually, I might start using switch at some point.
Yeah, nested
Cool, cool.
ifs are just I literally just debugged someone's nested if 2 days ago. They were like, why is this formula not doing what I want it to do? And it was a nested if. And it's so hard to debug 3 or 4 levels down because
It's
you have to always go through all of the progression and then switch. You can just read the different cases. And then usually like a problem with switch is that you just didn't have the case involved or nothing happened and you're getting an error instead of like you're getting something else. And then also like one problem with switch, which is not a problem, you just have to realize is numbers. You don't you don't have to put the quotes around numbers. It like knows numbers.
it's
But
interesting.
yeah.
I'll explore that definitely. And in switch, you can do like if as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you can still nest ifs inside of switch if you want. Because it's doing the same thing but in a different syntax. Like
Yeah.
most of the, and then again, this is what happened to me, is most of the time I found that what I really wanted to accomplish with a nested if was this different cases were happening. And so I just wanted to use switch. So there are times when you're like, oh, I need to do a nested if because I need to check this first, then I need to check this, then I need to check this. And it's and you get a binary tree out of it. A pretty simple one, but you still get a tree. Whereas if you're like, oh, I just need to know if it's this, this, or this, and these are like three things that are all on the same level, I need to check on the first time I need to check these three things, then it's switch. That's where I don't know if that makes sense there between those two.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. Like, because one thing I don't like about Google Sheets is that there's no like else if, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's really hard to read. So I have a quick question for you. Do you format your formulas or do you keep them all minimized?
Format formulas. What do you mean?
Like, like for like, you know, when you code, you have like each line have a different like
Oh, an
things
app
like a
script.
bracket here. Repeat that?
You mean an app script?
No, no, not AppScript. In the really like formulas, because let's say that you do a nested if. You have like it- like you can do it the same way as you would code. You know, one like if, and then you have like the condition, then you would have like the true, and then you have the false, and then you can like kind of staircase it in a
Oh,
way.
like syntax, like add a new line, you mean?
Yeah, do you
I've
do
never
that in
added a
formula?
new line.
So you have like you're a bit like me. You're a bit of a like how what is the name again? You like to torture yourself because when you try to read it after, you're just like it's all like, what I call like minimize, like a bit like CSS or JavaScript when you minimize the whole thing. It's
Mhm.
just like in one line, and
Yeah,
everything is so hard to read.
it's always hard to read. Yeah,
Yeah,
100% of the time, it's hard to read.
I yes. I hate it for that. Hate it for that because it's always so much easier to code because in formulas you can now do like tabs and all of these things. It's just ugly.
Yeah.
So yeah, hate it.
I mean, I think uh I think Google Sheets has a feature that I don't use a lot, but some people use, which is named ranges.
Name. How do you call it again? You said name ranges.
Yeah, named ranges makes formula writing way easier. Quote unquote, it makes it easier because you then don't have the problem of writing out the range of different ifs or anything. But I don't use it nearly enough. Some people absolutely love named ranges. It makes it much faster to type, but it adds a a layer of abstraction that doesn't jive with whatever I'm doing at the moment.
That's cool. I'm learning at the same time. I didn't know that you could name ranges, but
Yeah.
at the same time, as you said, like you have to make sure to name them well. Like you have to have a good name convention.
Right. If you name sheet one A1 to B1, if you name it A1, like you're screwed. Like like oh. Um and that might be one of the reasons why I don't use it a lot is because I just don't want to have to figure out a name for something. Or it's also one of those things that I just do naturally is I know that it's going to turn a color. So if I type the correct sheet name and range, I know if I got it right away. Um, but named ranges, man, some people love them, and they're very useful. They're
Yeah.
extremely useful. Um, what is it? Could the answer could be yours or someone else's, but what's your favorite sheet?
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be someone else's. It doesn't have to be necessarily. It could be your own. You have
I think
it seems like you have a favorite sheet, your weekly schedule you have from 5 years?
Yeah, that's funny because I don't really use spreadsheets from anyone else apart from those I've created.
Hmm.
Um, like the one I use almost on a daily basis is my financial sheet, shield. I use it literally every other day. Because like let's say like for example, this morning I had a Twilio transaction, so I just added it into it, and then that's it. Tomorrow morning, if I have no transactions or if I have no expenses or income, like I'm not gonna add it. But tomorrow, if I have like an income from a client, then I'll add it into it because that helps me to keep track of my finances. So at the end of the year, which is again, it's another something else that I've managed to do this year. It was January 3rd. I had planned the whole afternoon to do my finances for the end of the year, my end of the year report to send to my accountant. Literally 3 hours later, I was done. I was like, huh, that's it?
Three hours it took you?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, did I forget any transactions? No, basically the last like the 3 hours were just to add the transactions that I knew were recurring that I didn't take care of.
Mm,
For example, like a VPS for hosting, like I know at the end of the year it's just gonna be easier to export other transactions and
mm.
add it in the block of like transaction and just faster instead of doing it every month. But there's other transactions that are more like um punctual, not like always that recurring. So it's just literally like at least every week I review my finances and I know like where I am. So I know like for example, last month, this month, month to date, this year, I know like how much I've earned, how much profit I've profit like I've really made based on the expenses. So that guides me into like knowing where I am in my business and where I am in a way in my life. Because if you work for as an entrepreneur and you don't really have employees, well, that helps you to know like how much can you spend on like other things than your business.
Yeah, that's really helpful. I mean, you say you only spent 3 hours on it, but it sounds like you also spent 30 seconds to 45 seconds every single day for 364 days out of the year. That
Correct.
adds up.
Correct. But at the same time, as an entrepreneur, you want to know your numbers. I
Yeah.
literally, in one of the business that I'm partnering in, LinkedIn, a marketing agency, like we had a prospect that he was interested into working with us, but then he talked to his accountant and he was like, no, I won't be able to work like with you. I will only be able to start working like in April.
Mhm.
In my mind, that's like almost a red flag. If you're an entrepreneur, you should know your numbers. You should know where you're at. You shouldn't rely on your accountants to know like what decision can you make.
Yeah, that's that's important to know where you are and where you're going. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's why like I rather like that's why that 30 seconds or like 2 minutes a day for me it's a must as an entrepreneur. And then at the end of the year I end up saving lots of time. So for me it's a win-win.
But it sounds like you also kept um as an analogy, you kept the ship straight, like
Yeah.
being diligent about it every day, having that path, right? That 30-second to 45-second path of I have paid for this, here it goes. I got paid for this, here it goes. And that place to put it right in here, just that action alone. Yes, okay, you can do it over the course of 10 to 12 hours in one day, do that. But then the other 364 days of the year, you're like, how much am I spending? How much is coming in? Is that rhythm going appropriately? Do I need to be spending less? Do I need to be spending more? Because oh, I see this trend of downward, angle, or do I see this upward and I can spend more because I'm going to be unhappy in about 1 or 2 months because there's too much work? Do I have to hire someone to help on these, or do I have to move some time allotted? Okay, I get paid. Do you get paid upfront for some agency work?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, okay, I need to keep that in mind over the next 6 to 8 weeks. I'm going to be busy on this big deal that just happened. Um, Putting that into your accounting just helps keep on that track, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the worst thing that you don't want to happen to you is like your accountant at the end of the year telling you, "Oh, by the way, you have to pay like $6,000 to the government for your taxes, because you forgot to put that money that you receive,
Yeah.
from transactions into a bank account. I was literally showing my partner how I take care of my finances. I literally have a bank account for how do like how much I need to save for the IRS, how much I need to save for the taxes, how much is for my saving, how much is for money that I know is needs to be allocated at some point during the
Mhm.
year to someone like pay the accountant, like all of that money is in different bank accounts, different
I
like
just started
savings
doing that
accounts.
too. That's funny. I literally just opened other accounts, yeah, to do that, to save for this. I have one where I'm saving for a specific thing, and I'm like, oh, am I adding to it? I have investments. So like my bank account, whenever I look at it, I get very depressed because I'm like, man, this is not really moving. Like I'm not really coming out ahead. But then like underneath it are a bunch of other accounts that are like slowly growing as well. Like I'm like, oh, okay, I'm fine.
Yeah, that's what matters. And in a way, you seeing that you don't have much in your bank account might put pressure. I mean, not
Mhm.
much, like more than as much as you'd like. Even though you save that money, that would just put more pressure into you of like, oh, you have to keep going. Because if you would like, let's say you will have like, I don't know, 1 million in your bank account, you'd be like maybe I can chill a little bit, but then at the same time, because
The
there's a lot of
goalposts
people that
always move. If you have a
yeah.
million, you want 10 million. If you have 10 million, you want 100 million. Like I think the goalposts always move. If you have 10,000, you want 12,000. Like I think
Yeah,
that's
very true. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that they what happens often is people like that have a lot of money or earns a lot of money at some time if they're not, disciplined about about their wealth or about their money, their finances. What would happen is like they would like work hard for like 6 months or work hard for 3 months and they would have a lot of money and then they would start to chill and then they would be like, oh shit, my bank account is getting low. I have to continue to work. I have to start again to work instead of like having a constant flow of work. So that it depends on what is your relationship with money, I guess. But
yeah.
yes, very true.
I want to ask you one final question about your relationship with spreadsheets. Um, what is it if you see spreadsheets, because I think you're like me, you see a lot of other people's spreadsheets where sort of in groups where people will share whatever their product that they're selling, which is a spreadsheet, or they'll share a sheet, or you'll see a sheet, or people know you sell shields, so they'll send you sheets. I don't know if you get that too. I get that a lot of people just will send. I get a lot of Miss Excel videos sent to me. I get a lot of trick video, Google Sheet trick or Excel trick video sent to me. But what is it about a sheet? If you see something in the wild, like if somebody sends it to you, what sparks your interest? What do you see in a sheet that you're like, oh, is it a designed interestingly? Is it some new function you didn't think of? What is it that sparks your interest in a sheet?
Really good question. I think it's a combination of different things. For sure, the aesthetic is interesting to see. Oh,
Mhm.
how did they do it? That's what's one part. The other part is I wouldn't call it like automation, but like how they cross match data or how they
Mhm.
display the data in a way. For example, I remember that was I forgot the name of the person, but he had done a spreadsheet, M1 spreadsheet, something like that. And it was about tracking stocks and all of that. And I thought that was interesting because I like you could see like the kind of have an history of like all of the investments and like ups and downs. And I thought it was really interesting. And that I realized that there was some app script in the back end of it. I was like, how did they do it? So I like to kind of look at how people do things and try to understand how I could improve my own sheets that way. But yeah, I think it's really like it would not be formulas per se. It would be more like how the sheet function together. And when it's really, really well in a way coded,
Mhm.
either through app scripts or through formulas, I find it really impressive because you can do a lot of things in spreadsheets. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I think that's the main part. But
So it sounds like
I
you are interested when you don't. It sounds like what you're saying is you're interested when you don't know how it's done immediately, like a
yeah
magic trick. Like, oh, how did they
yeah
do that? Wait, what? Wait, there's no. You click in some cell change, and you're like, oh, what's the formula here? Oh, there's no formula. Wait, how did they do that?
yeah exactly. I think that's really like you summarized it really well because the aesthetic is like usually it's very rarely that fancy, but like that kind of part of the magic trick is really the one thing I'm like, oh, I want to know how to do that as well.
That's funny. I do like a well-designed sheet that is a design that I never would have come up with myself, knowing that it's not a trick, that it's the trick is just to do it, like have the creative vision to change the look and feel of a sheet in a way that doesn't rip away the spreadsheet feeling so much as like, because sometimes you can make a spreadsheet look like not a spreadsheet and then it sort of doesn't act like a spreadsheet either. But when somebody can create something in a spreadsheet that feels like you're in a spreadsheet, but you're in a really well done spreadsheet, and you just know it took a lot of time. Like, oh, they got the rows correct, they got the width correct, they got the colors not straight up one or the other. It's like they picked out this particular font. When it's hard labor work in a sheet, I go crazy. I'm like, this is great, and then. I do like the worst thing possible. I'm like, I immediately go, how can I use this? Okay, now I see the path. I see this now. How can I use this? Oh, yeah.
Amazing. Feel free to send me some of them because
Mhm.
it's true that it's can be really impressive of how people do things. Um, that reminds me a lot of when I used to play a video game more like hardcore and like a while back, like maybe like 15 years ago, something like that. And people at the time, it was possible to create like on Xbox Live, on the first Xbox and Xbox Live. In some games, you could have like you have like the clan features, and you could create an emblem like
An
Halo, I
emblem.
think,
Yeah.
like Halo 3 or even Rainbow Six 3 Black Arrow. They you could create like an emblem, like a logo.
Mhm.
But you were limited to specific shapes and like forms.
Wow.
And
So you
some
had to like do
people
the work of create from this set of shapes. You had to put together this thing.
yeah, that
Wow.
was so impressive. Some people were making like logos. I was like, whoa, that's amazing. Like so much hard work. You're like, how did they do it? For example, like the shape of an eye or like this thing. And it's just a mixture of like, triangle, rectangle, and circles and, like
Yeah.
ovals and just like these basic shapes. And you see like how all of that is like patterned together and you're just like, whoa, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about spreadsheets and like in terms of designs. Like it's really great to see like how people came up with, such amazing aesthetic with like such a basic, interface.
Yeah, and they did it, and it ends up being so simple. But then, yeah, I talked to someone, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this took me, a week and a half of like getting everything correct." I mean, I love it when somebody posts. I see these posts all the time on like Twitter, where it's like a very stark white spreadsheet, but like they'll use Consolas, I don't know how to pronounce Consolas, font, and they'll make it look very white and stark, and it's the same spreadsheet we all use, but it just looks so pretty inside this. Like, oh, they just formatted, like, instead of just having the headers and then data, they like made it up and down headers on the side. When somebody does that, it's great. I have a sheet I feature in Better Sheets, um that the guy who runs Gons, who runs Seed Table, he made this fantastic spreadsheet, a well-designed spreadsheet during COVID about like with community stuff. And he just took, instead of having these like bold headers, he took the headers on the side. I just love it. I'm like, okay, this is really like a designer has been like come in and brought 20 years of design experience into this spreadsheet. I love it. Like, yeah, you cannot I can physically replicate it, but I can't replicate the like uh inner inner being of that. It's great.
Right. No, totally. I know what you mean. Same thing as like this is like a kind of a joke about, you know, when like the plumber, whatever guy, like the construction guy come to fix to your house, like that like one nail, just hit the nail in the one place and then fix like, and then it's like $900 and the person like, what, you just spent like 1 second and you hit the nail at the right, you hit the nail, you just hit the nail. No, it's just like you had to know where to hit the nail at the right
Yeah.
place for it to work, and that's you know what it
Yeah,
costs, like
the bill comes due and it's like time what at $60 an hour. It's $1 for 1 minute at $60 an hour, and then $989 for knowing where to hit the nail. Yeah,
yeah, pretty much.
love it.
So yeah, it's kind of how I feel about, you know, design, and experience. Like you have to know, like you have to have the like the designer essence and you know the creative soul to do that.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Hugo, for chatting or talking about spreadsheets with me for quite a long time.
Feel like we went on all directions.
Yeah, this has been great. I hope people enjoy it. Is there any last parting words before we go? I mean, we want to. I'll have links to Shield. I'll have links to what you've produced, what you sell, what you work on, in the description below for anyone watching this.
Comment below.
Yeah, comment if which tangent you liked and which way you liked. Hugo will be checking this out too. Thanks so much, Hugo.
My pleasure. We can do that at any time.
Yeah, I feel like I can talk about spreadsheets all day, every day.
Yeah, same. Awesome. Thanks for having me. That was great.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. Watch here for all the episodes of Sheet Talking here on YouTube. And over here, watch the latest video from Better Sheets. Enjoy. Thanks for watching.